mangas mais esplácidas, o povo herói do gado retumbante, e o sol da liberdade, raios fúlgidos, brilhou no céu da pátria nesse instante, gigante pela própria natureza, és bela, és forte, pálido colosso, se o teu futuro espelha essa grandeza, terra dourada, entre outras mil és do Brasil, ó pátria amada, nos filhos desse sol és mãe gentil, pátria amada, Brasil.
There you have the two national anthems there, Brazil versus France in this final quarter-final here to determine who will go on to face China in the semi-finals. Makes for a very exciting contest. Still a dry day in Birmingham. We keep having weather checks, but it's mandatory when you live in the UK. Wherever you're watching, whether it's in Brazil or France, we hope you enjoy the coverage today. Let's take a look at the two teams then that will go toe-to-toe for a place in the Final Four. Starting with the French side, Alessandro Bartolomucci is the goalkeeper. Frederic Villeroux is the captain for the French and the danger man as well. Tiadane Diakite is the number 11, then number 5 Haki Marezki, and then number 7 Babacar Niang. On the bench today for the French, Benoit Chevroux is the replacement goalkeeper. Khalifa Yume is another substitute. Martin Baron. Ivan Wanshi is the fourth substitute. And then Michael Miguez makes up the substitutes. And then the head coach, Toussaint Akpwe, is the head coach. And the guide is Yannick Lecolveve. The famous Birmingham clock tower overlooking this sun-drenched pitch. Here are the Brazilians. Mateus Bermusa is the goalkeeper. Number 9 is Pirana Silva. Number 5 is Cassio Rice. Number 8, Raimundo Mendes. And number 11, Jardiel Suarez. The replacement goalkeeper, Luan Goncalves. Jonathan Silva, Maicon Mendes, Jefferson Goncalves, Samir Santana make up the substitutes. And then the head coach is Fabio Vasconcelos, and the guide is Edson Jr. Now, we were talking off camera, Dixie, about these two teams. France were impressive when I saw them last week, but Brazil haven't really got going yet in the competition. Well, at least haven't hit the heights that we're maybe accustomed to. So the French will feel they have an opportunity.
Yeah, that's for sure. Brazil have been, well, for Brazil, they've been really disappointing. They basically scraped through most of their games, sneaking a goal and winning 1-0. And it's not the Brazil that we're used to seeing. I'm starting to think, is this the changing of the guard? Brazil have been up at the top of the end of the tree for the last 25 years. There's no other country have won the Paralympics other than Brazil. And you're starting to see a few cracks appearing in their side. And as I say, unless they've been fooling us all, fooling me through the group stage and been holding something back. But we're about to find out, because this French side are no slouch. They're a good side, and if Brazil are not really up on the on the case and putting a load of effort in, they're going to get turned over, and that will see the end of Brazil in this competition, which would be a massive, massive shock, because they would be the favourites going into most competitions. So the captains are just about to do the toss and the business.
It would be unfair of me not to, well, it wouldn't be right of me not to mention the Brazil kit here, which is the customary yellow, which actually from distance, and now you could probably say it's more likely to be the other way around, it looks very similar to Bristol City Football Club's third kit, which is their yellow kit, which is received mixed reviews from fans, but I think the Brazilians here have copied the Bristol City kit and have gone for this strip. But from head to toe, they're in their yellow shirts, white shorts and blue socks. And then the French are in their away strip. It would appear white shirts, blue shorts and white socks.
And if I can just explain to the people that are outside the UK,
yes,
Bristol City are a mid-table team from the second tier of English football, and I'm sure Brazil will have copied their kit.
But the club management and owners have been telling us for about 20 years that we're sleeping giants and we're on our way to the Premier League. But we've all had to deal with consistent sort of 11th to 16th place finishes for the last sort of 7 or 8 years, which one of the producers of this particular broadcast, Dan White, will be, he'll probably sigh as I say that, given he is an avid Bristol City fan. Anyway, back to the action. Who cares about Bristol City? It's all about
not
France,
many people care about
Brazil
Bristol
here.
City,
This is the big one to complete the semi-final listing for later this week. And this is a big crunch match. And interestingly, off the kick-off, the French are sort of in a long line starting from the centre spot where they'll kick off. And directly behind the two players that will get us underway is the danger man, Villaroo. And then Orezki behind us. I'm joined by Dixie Dean. My name's Toby. We're covering the commentary for today. Dixie has put in a far bigger shift than the rest of us, having been here for every game so far through the men's and women's blind football competition.
Yeah, I want a long service award, please.
Such a celebrity that people are queuing up at the gazebo to speak to Dixie in between the games as well.
Well, that's not strictly true, is it? But there you go. I think when you're really ready and get this game going, who we got on the pitch? German referee and the Belgian referee.
We're just hoping that this is a bit more of a free-flowing encounter than the last one, the second half of the last one. The first half of the last game between Colombia and Iran was fantastic, and then it just sort of petered out ever so slightly. But a fast start to this game nonetheless. Teodani Diakite is trying to get France on the attack, and then the goal clearance is taken quickly up to the number 9 for Brazil, Silva. He sends the play out to the far side, and Suarez is up against the kickboard in front of the main stand. But they're playing some nice football early on as they spread from left to right and vice versa. Just trying to maintain control of the game. But the French, there's a stoppage already. One of the French players is down in some discomfort. He slaps the turf in frustration. He's bang on the halfway line inside his own half in front of the main stand here. And the physio has been called on by one of the referees, and he will trot across to make sure he is okay, but he does look in some discomfort. It was a fairly innocuous incident, but sometimes those are the worst. If he's twisted something, he looks like he is in a degree of pain. It's not one of those where he just fancies a breather inside 30 seconds, and the substitutes are warming up. Given the physio is on, he will have to go off now as well. So that's an early blow for the French side.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blow for the French side there. But they still got Villaroo in their side, and I believe he scored probably one of the goals of the tournament.
He did.
And I think it was last Thursday, and I think it was against Colombia.
It was me and you, actually.
It
was on the Friday. It must have been the Friday, yes.
Right. Yeah, it was against Colombia, though, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you get a chance to look back on YouTube, Colombia versus France, be it Thursday or Friday, it was one of those. Take a look at the goal he scored. It's unbelievable. And he's coming away with the ball now, and we're back up and running.
The substitute wasn't ready to come on, so at the moment France are playing with two. Villaroo, though, through on goal. And he does shoot with his left foot, but it goes out for a goal clearance. And what's happened in all of that is Babacar Niang has been able to come back onto the pitch, which is good. It shows that he's made of tough stuff, back on his feet as well. And now Brazil have possession through Lopez. Bang on his defensive third line, and that is the first time since I've been here that I've seen the ball go over the kickboard.
It doesn't happen very often, but yeah, the Brazilian lost his bearings a little bit, and he went to put it down the line, and he's slightly gone off cue, and it's gone over the boards. And so it's a kick into France.
Kick in for France. And Babacar Niang straight back into the action, just inside the Brazilian half. Tries to use the kickboard to get beyond the number 9 for Brazil, Silva, but Silva brings the ball away. A lovely close control from him, just trying to find his way through. He's hurdling obstacles of French legs to try and find a clear view on goal so he can pull the trigger and get a shot away. He does! A fine effort, a whisker away from the far post. The French goalkeeper, Bartolomucci, hops to his feet and just barks orders at his defenders. That was a good effort.
Yeah, that was a great effort. He worked so hard to get into a position, and when he unleashed his shot, it couldn't have been just inches past the post. And here we go again.
Here comes Mendes. Again, he had a good opportunity to maybe strike a goal. A few players just losing their footing. Of course, all wearing trainers rather than studs on this 4G pitch. And that's a shot from it. A fine save from Bartolomucci. That was, my word, cracking effort on goal from the number 11 for Brazil, Suarez. But what a save.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I've seen more in Brazil in these 2 minutes of this game than we've seen in the whole tournament. Perhaps they have been hiding their bushel, as they say, and we're going to see the proper Brazil in this game. But they've certainly had a couple of 3 chances there.
That was one of the best saves I've seen, certainly in this competition so far. Bartolomucci there, the French goalkeeper, keeping a rejuvenated Brazilian side at bay. Spread out to the far side in front of the main stand and picked up by the 11 for Brazil, Suarez, but he has his pockets picked, and now the French will look to break. And if he'd had a second longer there to strike Babacar Niang, he might have found the back of the net, but a goal clearance nonetheless. Upfield it goes, and that will trickle all the way through. Unfortunately for the Brazilians, for a French goal clearance.
Yeah, French decided to play it out short and build up from the back. Didn't really work particularly well, and they lost possession.
There's Diakite. His pass was a nice successful one, and he gives possession back to the Brazilians, but he's dug out of a hole by Babacar Niang, who's inside his defensive third. He pokes it through to Villaroo, and Villaroo now, and this is where he's most dangerous, twisting and turning, and he has his shot blocked, and it goes out for a corner for the French side, and he's encouraged by that. He claps his hands and looks back towards his own goal.
He's so quick over the ground, Villaroo. He's a fine player. He's been around, I think 20 years he's been playing at this level, and yeah, you wouldn't look at him, you wouldn't think he'd been around for 20 years because he looks fit and he's still got a lot of pace, and he's certainly got all the skills he's ever had. So he is a good player.
Well, Villaroo waits on the edge of the D, but he's being man-marked at the moment. The corner is taken, but that will be another opportunity now for France to reset here and have another go again from another set piece. The ambulance count tots up to the 3-figure mark.
At least.
That's just since the afternoon started. Diakite and Babacar Niang stand over this corner. Off we go again. Through Diakite, he twists and tries to head towards the D, but it's cleared away by Brazil. And a rush of yellow shirts surge forward. And here come the Brazilians now through number 8, Mendes. Still Mendes. He'll have a chance at goal now, and he can't quite steer it towards the target.
Yeah, he just couldn't wrap his foot around it and cut back across the ball. He tried, he slid. But he's already achieved his pushing it out for goal clearance. It's so close, but it was a fantastic run.
Going to go all the way through from the pass from one of the French players there for a goal clearance for Brazil. Niang tries to stop the ball from going any further. It's with Brazil, though, on the edge of the D. Danger. Suarez now. Silva on this near side, and it's a no-nonsense clearance from Villaroo.
Yes, just kick it anywhere at the moment for the French. The Brazilians have rattled them a fair bit, yeah. They're not looking as comfortable as what they have done in previous games, the French.
Corner for Brazil on this near side in front of the coaching staff. It's taken. It's with Suarez. He checks onto his left foot. Tries to get the ball out of his feet in order to line up the shots, but his French players sliding on the floor to try and get their bodies in the way. It's still with Suarez. He's just tucked inside the offensive third. Spills out into the middle third, and it's picked up by the number 9, Silva. Silva arcs his run and then steers it goal bound just before the number 8 for Brazil. Mendes tries to poke it beyond the keeper. Bartolomucci scoops it up. Roll back out. It's in French hands now, and Villarreal sends it out to that right-hand side. Babacar Niang gives chase, but he misses his tackle. And Suarez will bring the ball away. Up over the... and completely through the middle third. Still going, Suarez. His final touch is poor because Villarreal got in the way. And now the French will break through Diakite, but that's a pretty blatant trip right in front of all the officials and the coaching staff, and it will be a free kick for France.
And the Brazilian coach, he's not shouting, but he's talking to the referee saying, how can that be a foul? I'll leave you to make your own mind up about that.
I feel like I could probably explain that one to him if he needed. You might just want to see a replay of that.
Yeah. The most blatant trip you ever did see in your life. But isn't it strange how people see different things and on the pitch and have a different opinion? But Brazilian coach is a nice lad, as I say. He used to be their goalkeeper many years ago, and he's enjoyed a good few years of coaching with them and very successful.
There's Villarreal, just checks back onto his right foot. We're playing the football in the middle third at the moment, but the Brazilians now take over, move over the halfway line into the offensive third in their favour, looking to try and test Bartolomucci, who's stood firm so far, pulled off some fabulous saves. Now the French will look to counter-attack, and a big barge there between the French and the Brazilian player, and the French will receive the free kick, despite the fact that the Brazilian player probably came off worse.
Yeah, he's not talking the Brazilian there, and he's hurt the French lad here because the French boy was going at a bit of a rate of knots, wasn't he? And he's ploughed straight into him. You know, I've said it in previous commentaries about this word void. It is so important, and if the defenders don't say it, how are the attackers supposed to know where they are? And for their own safety on the pitch, they've got to say it. And unfortunately, some don't, and you end up with all sorts of injuries. And yeah, it's totally unnecessary because the laws of the game state if you're not in possession of the ball and you can hear the ball coming towards you, you've got to say void. And we're off.
Off we go again, and a fine shot from range. It was the number 7, Niang, for France. Flashes across the face of goal. It's a goal clearance in the end, but the Brazilians pick it up, and that was a dangerous moment for them. Brazil on the halfway line through Silva. He squares the ball out to that far side of Suarez, right next to the kickboard in front of the main stand. He tries to check back in, but he's been hustled and harried by French players, not allowed any time to breathe on the ball and gather his bearings. Villarreal gives chase, and then it's spread out to the left-hand side. It's with the number 8 for Brazil now, Mendes. Mendes ups to go the opposite direction. Beyond Mendes here is Silva. Suarez in possession now, moves over the halfway line. Silva now with a bit of space down the right. Can he pick the right pass?
Oh.
A whisker away from finding the boot from Mendes.
That was a delightful ball. He's angled it in to that far post area, and the Brazilians is rushing in on it. He just fails to make contact with the ball. Tremendous bit of play. Would have been a fabulous goal.
Bartolomucci doesn't look like a player that will be beaten easily, so it might take a bit of luck or a little tap in from a bit closer to actually beat him today. The number 5 is making a marauding run forward, Lopez there, and he receives a free kick.
Yeah, he's well sized down by I think it was number 7 of France. So just outside the attacking third, pretty central. And I wonder what the Brazilians can conjure up here. But as I say, in the first 6 minutes, I've seen more in the first 6 minutes in this game than I certainly did in the previous 3 games in total for Brazil. It's certainly back on it a little bit. The coach must have got around them and over the last couple of days and said, come on, boys, we're going to lose our crown here if we're not careful.
Jardiel Suarez has a responsibility of trying to orchestrate something here for the Brazilians. He's got a lot of French players to beat if he's going to do so. That's what I thought was going to be a good tackle, but it turns out it wasn't, according to the referee. It was 11 v 11. Diodane Diakite, the player to bring Suarez down.
Yeah, it's another team foul against France, sorry. And they'll come to regret these silly little fouls. And on the just on the attacking third for Brazil, still pretty central.
Here is Suarez. He looks to toe punt it, goal bound. They'll get the corner, Brazil. It ricochets off a French player, and the corner will be taken in front of the main stand on that side. The sun is out, the sky is slightly grey, but everybody enjoying the conditions and a good crowd in as well for this fixture. I think as the tournament's worn on, the crowds have just got a bit bigger with other athletes enjoying a bit of spectating in between games. Here's Suarez. Looking for a way through. Still going Suarez. Sent upfield. Babacar Niang, though, picks the pocket so full. Oh, that's a big challenge. That's a nasty one. Mendes.
Number 7 again, isn't it? He's absolutely scythed him down there. I think he's going to get a card for this, you know.
Yeah, Babacar Niang taking a bit of a talking to. Yes, yellow card for him.
Yeah, quite rightly too. It was his second or third foul he's done, and that one was particularly aggressive. And yeah, he's absolutely scythed him down. So, well done, referee.
The French head coach pointing to his temples there as if to say, make sure you keep your concentration, your focus. He's a fierce-looking character on the touchline. I haven't seen him crack a smile just yet. He's very animated when talking to his players, as well as the referee. And again, the two players over this one for Brazil are Suarez and Mendes. Mendes, in fact, is just in front of the three-man wall for the French. You'll hear there the tapping over the speakers of the post as the Brazilian guide affords them the opportunity to gather their bearings as they try and find the opening goal in this game. The time is back on. It is Suarez who shoots, and that's a really good block, actually, a really effective one. Some really tough tackling going on. We're back by the sideboard on this near side, still with Brazil. The number 5 for France was Arezki, and he made a really good block by just lying down on the pitch, diving down and blocking that free kick.
I think they call it a draft excluder, don't they? I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's a bit more effective in this game than we see in the sighted football anyway.
Yeah.
The number 11 for France.
Now, you said you'd never seen one. Well, we've seen 2 in a minute.
Buses these kick-ins now.
Yeah, the ball's just gone over the sideboard again off the French lad, and so Brazil are going to get a kick in this time. It's just about in the attacking third.
The French goalkeeper, Bartolomucci, just organising his wall again and making sure that the number 5, Arezki, is marking Mendes out on that far side. Forward comes Suarez, but that will fall for the French now, and they can launch an attack, and they will do just that through Diakite. He's made his way up to the attacking third line, but he's lost possession to the number 5 for Brazil, Lopez, and he looks to break into the attacking third against the French. Scrambled stuff on that far side in front of the main stand.
Steady.
Inside the French half, and there's a bit of a coming together and a bit of what I called argy-bargy earlier on, but I'll have to name it slightly differently for this fixture.
Yeah, there's a foul committed by the Brazilian number 5. He was a bit rash, and he made contact with the French lad, the French number 5 as well, and unfortunately the French number 5 didn't like it and wanted to take issue with him. But the two refs were there pretty sharpish, and they broke all that up, and we're going to restart with a free kick to France. I wish the guy would get out of the way. He stood right in front of the scoreboard. Can't see it. As soon as I can see the foul count, I'll let you know.
I can't see it either. Unfortunately,
No,
my view is skewed by Silva of the Brazilian side, but we're back underway. And here comes Suarez on the attack, and that's a big collision there. Will be a corner for the Brazilians.
So we're on 3 each on the fouls at the moment, so it's a good chance one of them's going to be giving away some 8-metre penalties before long. And Toussaint, the French coach, is very animated on the side there. He wants a little bit more from his team. I think the way Brazil are playing has surprised him. I think he like myself, he's watched Brazil in the previous 3 games and not been that impressed, but they're certainly playing better in this one.
He's shaking his head down there. Here come Brazil then. The corner is taken. Big opportunity. It fell to the number 9, Silva, but he fired straight at Bartolomucci. The referee scrambles out of the way on that far side, right up against the kickboard in front of the main stand. Here's the number 11 now, Suarez for Brazil, trying to orchestrate a way out, and it goes out in the end for a goal clearance, which is taken quickly by Basuma. Basuma fires it out to Mendes in front of the main stand against the kickball. Mendes still going here, almost lines up a shot. Took several players out of the game there for the French, and then they all clustered together and worked in unison to take the ball away from Suarez. Suarez back in possession now. He's the real threat for the Brazilians, and that's a fabulous challenge by the number 5, Arezki, for the French. The ball rolls along the whole half-metre line. Who wants it first? Well, it's Mendes in possession, but he's forced back towards his own goal. Eventually, the Brazilians consolidate, and it's picked up in the middle of the park by the number 9, Silva. Silva beats one man. Still going Silva. Almost beats a second. And then it spills out for a corner.
Good play by the Brazilians. He looked really elegant, covering the ground then. He was sort of gliding across the top of it. And he was beating the French at will, really. Was no problem at all. And they eventually got one player tight to him, and his shot was deflected out for a corner. So great play by the Brazilians.
I don't know any Portuguese, but I think the guy behind the goal was calling for calm from his Brazilian players just then as they brought the ball forward. Here is Suarez again. Suarez up against Diakite. Diakite wins that battle. And then the number 9 for Brazil picks it up. Silva. Silva strikes, but he's blocked by Villaroo. And Villaroo wins back possession altogether and then just swipes the ball out to the far side. Still inside the French half. They're still under the cosh here a little bit. But it's stung up against the kickboard now. Here comes Suarez. Lovely skill. He fired towards that bottom corner. I think it was just missing the target, but the danger hasn't passed.
Gee.
And we've been joined in the gazebo again by the ball.
Coffee cups are going all over the place. Oh, dear. I think we're going to have a clear up here at half time.
I think so. And there's a timeout called as well, and a breather for both sides with 5 minutes and 51 seconds left on the clock.
This is definitely a different Brazil side than what we saw in the group stages. I know it's the same players and everything, but they're playing so much better, so much like the Brazil that we've seen for the last 20 years. And at the moment, there's really only one side in it, and that's Brazil. They've done everything but score. And they've been in and around the box, and they've been lively, good breaks, and they just want that little bit of luck on the end of it, and they'll be scoring goals. But at the moment, France are still in the game, holding in there. The French keeper is having a good day, and the two guys at the back are working really hard, and they're holding it to 0-0 at the moment. So I suppose their philosophy will be, well, let's get to half time, and if we can keep it 0-0 at half time, we'll give it a go in the second half. I would have thought, because we haven't seen much of Villaroo, really, have we? Because we know he's quality. So he's going to have a purple patch during the day. So perhaps we'll see his purple patch in the second half.
Still goalless then in this quarter-final match. Argentina and China through already. as well as the Colombians. Colombia will face Argentina, an all South American semi-final, and the winner of this one will face the Chinese, who were very measured in their win earlier on today.
Yeah, I think we agreed that they were efficient, very efficient.
They certainly were. We're back underway, and a clear run on goal here for the French. But it's dragged wide, Babacar Niang, and it receives a ripple of applause from, well, both sets of staff, really, because the French are encouraged and the Brazilians were happy with the way that marshalled out of play. Here come Brazil again, through their number 7 at real pace.
And it was the French number 7 who stopped him.
Certainly was.
It's very much end-to-end at the moment. France are coming back into it a little bit. It's not all Brazil now.
Goncalves is the player that's come on. If you did just miss that during the timeout, he's replaced Jardiel Suarez during that break.
I think Toussaint, the French coach, is jumping up and down going mad. He wanted a foul for that, and I can see why he did.
It never came. The French remain unchanged as Villaroo moves over the halfway line. Still going here, Villaroo. Can he find the finish? He's bundled down. The referee judges that to be a goal clearance, and that the two players just had a normal sort of shoulder-to-shoulder coming together.
Yeah, he was just leaning into Villaroo, and Villaroo wasn't really particularly well balanced, and he's gone down, but it's not a foul. He's got to be stronger than that.
There was a second change as well during that interval. The number 4 is on for the Brazilians. Replaces number 9. He's Mendes. He replaces Silva. He's just tucked in. Mendes, and he fires at goal. Just misses everything in the target, but he wasn't too far away. I'm pretty sure Bartolomucci had that covered.
Yeah, it was a very tight angle he's hitting it from, and it's rattled into the side netting. But unfortunately for him, it was the wrong side of the side netting.
The Brazilian goal guide behind the goal, Edson Jr., very animated as he tries to sort of siphon the ball into the net from his players. Here's Villaroo over the halfway line into the attacking third. Still going, Villaroo!
Oh my
What a
word.
fine save that is. And rightly, Basumu celebrates there in the Brazilian goal, because that was a remarkable save, and here is the replay.
Villaroo can't believe it. He can't believe it. He's hit it so well from about 10 metres. Oh, he smacked it. And the goalkeeper's gone up and across there. Lovely save by the keeper, and a brilliant shot by Villaroo. We said he'd been quiet and he's got to have a purple patch. Perhaps he's having it now. That was fantastic play all round, from both teams.
Well, it will be a corner, thanks to that fine save. The referee just checking a few things with regards to the players at the moment. Just making sure, I think, that everyone's happy and healthy. In fact, some instructions are going back and forth between the officials, and we will have a substitution as well in the process. It's a Brazilian substitution. 8 Mendes will come off, and it's a reintroduction for Suarez.
Yeah, I was surprised they took Suarez off, because I thought he'd had a good first 10 minutes, and but the Brazilian coach has probably just seen what happened, and Suarez is a bit more muscular, and probably wants him on there to break those things down.
The players lock legs straight after the corner. They're tucked right into a narrow portion of the pitch near the Brazilian goal line. The French might pick it up here, and another effort goes a begging for Villaroo. It takes a deflection off a Brazilian defender's leg, and we have a corner on the opposite side.
That's a silly thing to do, isn't it? You know, you've got the Brazilians right out on the board, and he does not know what's behind him, and he's backheeled it, and he backheeled it straight to Villaroo. Villaroo's had a little shot there, but it's gone wide, and he was under pressure. So there's a corner on the other side.
Corner is taken for the French. 3 minutes to go until half-time, but the Brazilians are the ones that bring it away. Through their number 5, Lopez, and he sends a very powerful pass cross-field, looking for the number 7 who's come onto the field of play, Goncalves, and he might have a chance here. He can't quite steer it round the goalkeeper, who takes a bit of a battering in the process.
He took a battering from two French players and one Brazilian. Yeah, he's all right though. He's up on his feet. The referee is referee stopped the game, which was right and proper, because there were so many players on top of the goalkeeper. Someone could have got injured there. So he's just going to give a bounce up to and drop the ball for the French keeper to come away with. And we've got just under 3 minutes to go. And we're off.
Bartolomucci flings it out to the near side. Now it's with the number 7 who's come onto the field of play and making a real impact early on in this game. The number 7, he's been fantastic. Goncalves. Now the French come forward again, and we're back into Brazilian territory until it's kicked forward once more. It's back and forth stuff. Babacar Niang now looking for a route through. Aggressively so, and he's ended up on the floor. It will be a goal clearance taken quickly by the Brazilians. They fancy a goal before half-time. Flung out towards Goncalves, who has been identified as a danger man by the Brazilian goalkeeper. Plenty of time for the French defender to clear the ball away. Just lumps it long, and it will go out for another goal clearance with 2 minutes now left on the clock here.
Yeah, Brazil a little bit more measured this time.
Here is Lopez. Neat bit of footwork from him, and then he chips it out to the side nearest the main stand, and that will go out for a corner for the Brazilians. Took a deflection there off Diakite, and Goncalves goes across and joins Suarez in preparation for this corner.
We got a substitution coming up for Brazil.
And we're going to have a substitution for Brazil with Mendes coming back on, and I think a timeout as well by the looks of things.
Oh, yes. I wonder where the guy was going.
2 referees take their spot in the middle of the park. Here's the Villaroo chances again, but he's been his usual self, his usual menacing self in front of goal.
That's tremendous all round, isn't it? Absolutely tremendous. Yeah, he's picked up the ball on the side, off a Brazilian, cut inside, and he's just lashed it towards the top left-hand corner, and the keeper's done really well. He's got across there so quick, and there's another effort which was deflected round the corner. So, yeah, Villaroo's starting to step up a little bit. The Brazilians are starting to step up a bit. So, this is all good stuff, and bodes well for the second half. Because as the game gets, we get deeper into it and it stays 0-0, the tension will rise amongst these two teams. Because, well, France have already pre-qualified for the Paralympics, but Brazil haven't. So they want one of the qualifying places, and to get that, they need to go on a little bit deeper into this competition.
Mendes is back on for the Brazilians, and this corner will be taken on that far side as we see it, next to the main stand at the gazebo end. Still waiting for this corner to be taken as the referee just makes sure the wall is further enough, far enough back, I should say. 7 and 11 for Brazil over it. Suarez and Goncalves. And we are back underway. Goncalves takes the ball, moves it onto his right foot, and now it's with the French and the danger man, Villaroo. Not as many people to beat this time for Villaroo, but he's just barged off the ball by the number 5 for Brazil, who then keeps the ball in play very intelligently so. And now there's a coming together between both the number 5 for Brazil and Villaroo. Goal clearance for Brazil, which makes its way all the way down to the other end of the pitch, and it will now be a goal clearance for the French. Bounced out to Diakite, who thumps it long, and it will be another goal clearance. It's just goal clearance to goal clearance at the moment.
Yeah, to be fair to the number 7, he's put his hand up to apologise to everyone. I think as soon as it left his foot, he realised I've made a mistake there. And if he didn't realise it, Toussaint was directly behind him. I think he told him in some order.
Babacar Niang pushed up against the kickboard on that far side, and he battles past his opposite number. Really good work from him. Suarez still going here. Diakite into the arms in the end of Basuma. And it's launched back towards the kickboard, and Suarez picks it up. Is there a chance here before half-time for either side? It could fall to Brazil. Can it be scooped past the post? It is past the post, but the wrong side if you're a Brazilian player. The referee blows his whistle.
Yeah, his shades have come off. Let's put them back on. So you don't have to stop play. Just let the players put the shades back on. Well done.
27 seconds left on the clock, and Bartolomucci just bounces the ball out to his number 5. Rezki, who's a pretty strong defender, and he always sort of stays back as an acting sweeper in this French team. Bit of a collision there with 7 seconds left on the board. Time ticks away. And that is the end of the first half of the final quarter-final of the day. And bar the Villarreal chance, we've not had... well, we had a good chance, actually, that's a lie, for Brazil early on in the half. And 2 fine saves, one from each goalkeeper, in fact, Dixie.
Yes, it's not been a nil. As I said last week, there's nil-nils and nil-nils. And that wasn't a boring nil-nil half. There was entertainment going on all the time, and bar for some excellent goalkeeping and last-ditch tackling, I'm sure we'd have had 1 or 2 goals. But we, as we look at a few of the efforts that have gone on, that was a bit long-rangey, but still a chance. This is a big chance, and he just loses his bearings there a little bit. Another chance for Brazil coming up.
And on the balance of play, who do you think's been the stronger side?
I think for the first 10 or 11 minutes, Brazil. But for the last 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes of this half, I thought France had come back into it really well. And they've
what a save that was.
They've really pushed the Brazilians back. So, yeah, it's all good stuff in the moment. Enjoying it.
Well, goalless in the final quarter-final. Here's a short video now. Explain the rules of blind football and a message from IBSA.
It's fast, technical and tense. This is your guide to five-a-side football. There are 5 players per team, 4 outfield players and a goalkeeper. The aim of the sport is to score a goal by kicking the ball into your opponent's goal, and at the end of the game, whoever scored the most wins. Players must wear eye shades to ensure that all players have the same level of vision. That is apart from the goalkeepers, who aren't required to wear eye shades and can be fully sighted. Their job is to keep the ball from going in the goal behind them. But how do the players on the field know where the ball, or indeed the goal, is? Well, the ball in blind football is specially designed to make sound whenever it moves. Also, each team has a guide behind the opposition goal to help direct them. Each player is required to shout "Voy" when going for the ball. This ensures every player has the cues they need to help build a picture of what's going on and what to do next in defence or attack. To help this, total silence is required from the crowd until a goal goes in. Voy is Spanish for go, and it was the Spanish who were credited with originally developing blind football in the 1920s. As well as the Paralympics, teams from all corners of the world can compete at World, European, Asian, African and America's Championships, as well as a World Grand Prix.
Blind football can be played by both men and women, with the historic first Women's World Championships coming up in 2023.
So what are you waiting for? Give it a try.
IBSA, International Blind Sports Federation, presents, with the support of the International Paralympic Committee, IBSA Anti-Doping App, the first application of its kind in the Paralympic movement, specifically designed for blind and visually impaired people. Athletes, coaches, medical staff, managers, and the public in general now have a powerful tool to stay focused on the principles of clean sport. Scrolling down the main menu, You can find all the important themes you need to know to play fair and be alert to testing procedures and necessary adaptations for athletes with visual impairments. IBSA gives top priority to anti-doping control, being the only international federation with 3 sports in the Paralympic family: goalball, football, and judo. IBSA anti-doping app has external links, namely to WADA, where our sport agents can always find the most updated information, especially the list of prohibited substances and methods. Glory in sport can only be achieved by the athlete's awareness of their rights and responsibilities. You can find them on the IBSA anti-doping app. IBSA is continuously promoting anti-doping education to all its affiliate athletes and sport agents, not only about the consequences of the use of doping and the risk of using supplements. IBSA believes that education is the major tool to fight doping in sport. Informed athletes can make better decisions. Download the app now at the usual operating system stores.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have seen history being made today.
Such a great team at these championships.
IBSA. Beyond sight. Feel the sport.
Perfect timing. We're ready to go for half number 2 in the final. Well, it's the final half of the quarter-finals. And this game is in the balance between France and Brazil. Could this be the first one of the quarter-finals that goes to penalties? The referee just checking with both guides that they're ready to go and they're alert. Checks with everybody. And off we go. And the Brazilians attacking the coffee shop end. The well-known coffee shop end here on the University of Birmingham Sport Campus. As 2 players go to ground straight away. 1 from each side. The number 9 for Brazil takes the ball on the edge of the D, squares it. In the way, though, is Babacar Niang, and he moves up towards the halfway line. Still going here. What a fabulous run. Could this be the opening goal of the game for the French? Stopped right at the last there.
Yeah, it was good defending by the Brazilians. They closed in on him just as he was about to let fly with a shot, and almost saved a certain goal, I would suggest. And Villarou's made a mistake, and he's put that out for a corner.
Corner for the Brazilians, and Villarou puts his hands on his head in disappointment there. Bit upset with himself.
It was a fabulous run by the French lad from the back just before that, and as I say, he was very unlucky not to get his shot away. And I think he might have opened the scoring if he had it. But here come Brazil from the corner.
Here's Suarez, finds himself in a more central position with that arced run, but the French steal the ball away from him and move upfield. We're a minute into the second half. And the number 9 thwarts any danger posed by the French, and the referee waves play on. No foul there as far as he is concerned. Makes his feelings known, and then a big collision. You could hear that collision as well, and that's hurt.
Villarou's down.
Villarou, and he goes down.
I'm sorry to say, that is Villarou's own fault. He's not said void, and he's been promptly clattered by the big Brazilian.
Can these situations sometimes feel a little bit hard done by, because it happens so quickly, you almost don't think you're necessarily about to find yourself in a tackle situation?
Yeah, but they should be aware of what is happening on the pitch, and it is there to protect everyone, not just the attacker or the defender, everyone else. So,
chance for Brazil, and it whistles past the post. Suarez comes very close to opening the scoring here. We're back underway, though. It's been a changing goalkeeper at half-time for the French. Bartolomucci is the man that has gone off.
I wonder why they've done that.
Means Benoit Chevroux is on in his place. It's with the French now, though. And away they move into the Brazil half, and they shoot.
That's a corner.
Well, it was an attempted shot by Diakite, but just at the last, the number 5 for Brazil, Cássio Lopes, does just enough to put him off.
We get a player down on the floor,
I think,
and it's Villarou from that. He's still shook up from that challenge that when he didn't say void, so he's gone down. He's a bit dazed by it, to be honest, and I'm not surprised, because we could hear the third from our position, couldn't we, as they made contact with one another.
He seems like the sort of player that doesn't go down too easily as well. He's clutching the front of his face. Yeah,
just go to emphasise the point. You've got to get those voids in.
Substitute is ready to come on in Villarou's place, and it'll be on attacking duty straight away. We'll wait to see who. Can't quite make them out from where we are sat and positioned here. It's taking place at the opposite end of the field.
Big loss for France, that is, if he can't come back on. That is a massive loss for them.
It certainly is. And therefore it'd be a fantastic time to score, really. The number 6 comes on, Baron Martin. And he joins forces with Diakite.
And it is the French number 6 who's going to run away with the ball here. And he's been robbed.
He certainly has, Martin, but it all ricochets almost back into the path there of Martin to try and poke home, but the Brazilians come away with it. But it's back in French hands. This game is getting a touch scrappier now as Babacar Niang tries to find some room for the shot. Big coming together of players, and the referee's whistle goes. There's a push, according to the referee. It will be a Brazilian free kick. The French retreat.
Yeah, foul was called from this side. The referee on this had a far better view of it than the referee on the other side. The ref this side was behind the field of play, so he could see that, whereas the other ref was in front of it, so he wouldn't have seen the push. So that's 2 fouls against the French already.
The 2 games that we have later on will decide who goes on to play the 9th place match on Thursday afternoon. Just as it goes out of play again, it will be a goal clearance for the French. Chevroux takes it quickly up towards Martin. And number 9 intervenes, though, Parana Silva for the Brazilians. Back into French territory it goes, but there's a bit of confusion between the 2 players, and it goes behind for a corner. And Chevroux, the goalkeeper for the French, just has a word with his defenders just to remind them to communicate, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was the problem there. Not talking to one another. Referee pushes them back to the prescribed 5 metres.
Brazil corner. 2 players over this one. Quite sure what has been called there. But
no void against the French guy. He's come steaming into the Brazilian, and he's not said a word. He's just run straight at him.
3rd foul already.
Yeah, we've played 2.5 minutes. Oh dear.
This is a decent angle as well for Brazil, because they've kind of got a head start on that arced run from the usual corner. Referee readies himself. He's waiting for the thumbs up from someone.
He's waiting for the guide to do his stuff, and why is the guide not doing it? I don't know. Here we go. He's starting.
There's the near post marked from the guide. He'll wander around now and tap up the far stick of the French goal. The French goalkeeper Chevroux is on his arms to his side like a cobra waiting to strike there, but a shot from range from the Brazilians. It was the number 11 Suarez that made the effort. It will be a goal clearance. I'm sure all of the Brazilians watching at home and listening at home will have jumped off their seat at that moment in time.
Yeah, there was a Brazilian right on the far post as well. Any little touch off him, he would have been in.
Chance now for the French. Here they come. An attempted shot is stopped before it can even be unleashed by the number 9 for Brazil, Silva. It's spilled out to the far side in front of the main stand, and that will be a goal clearance. Brazil's goal clearance. The French go back towards their own half. It's flung out up towards Suarez. Suarez looks like the danger man for the team in yellow. And now the French come again, having lost the ball there, Brazil. But that's France, sorry. That's a fabulous tackle there by Cassio Lopez. France back in possession once more, and then I think Niang just lost his bearings a touch, and now the defender for Brazil is through here. Could there be a goal? He misses his footing. He decided to go it alone. He was frustrated with the attackers not finding the net in front of him and thought, right, I'm going to have a go myself.
Yeah, it was a great run by him. He's just lost his balance a little bit towards the end there when he was about to take the shot and ended up having a big air shot, but good run.
Martin in the middle of the park, in the centre circle, taking his time just to twist and turn and go back and forth. I wonder if we'll see any more of Villarreau in this game. The man that Martin came on to replace following that strike to the head. Players coming together now on this near side on the kickboard. It's spilled out. It's not quite gone out for a goal clearance yet. The French clear their lines, and it will run all the way through to the Brazilian goalkeeper. Thought for a minute his throw out there might have gone out on the full, but he does really well to find the number 9, Silva. Silva uses some skill. Can he strike on goal? He does. Flashes across the face.
Again, there's a Brazilian at the far post. They're looking for that far post area all the time.
Goal clearance just dropped out to Niang on the near side in front of the coaching staff.
And
No void against the Brazilians.
yeah, Brazilian bench is not happy about that. But they're further away from the play than what the referee is, so how they can argue the point, I don't know.
10:26 left on the clock. The French get us back underway through Martin. He's the man that gets clobbered by a Brazilian player. And now the Brazilians are on the attack. Big chance, but for Babacar Niang, who steps in and stops the attack. Ball is kept in play. The Brazilians send it back upfield through Cassio Lopez over the halfway line. The Brazilians still going through their number 9. Still with Brazil, shot on target. Decent save. The goalkeeper made himself big in the French goal, Chevroux. And that's a trip there from a French player, the number 7, Niang. And now it's a really good opportunity from this set piece for the Brazil side.
Just going back from that previous run, I don't think the keeper knew too much about it, to be honest. It's an excellent strike by the Brazilian. The keeper just stood there and it just bounced off his chest. So I'm not too sure if he was aware of that. But the important thing now is Brazil got another free kick just outside the penalty area. And that foul count, even though they haven't adjusted the borders yet, I'm pretty sure will rack up to number 4. Yes, it will. So no more fouls for France, please.
Trying to just make sense of what the referee is doing here, what he's trying to organise.
Yeah, he's
wait
just
for the guide.
He's just informing the French technical area and the French wall that they're on 14 fouls, and any more will result in an 8-metre penalty. I think when you're ready to go, I think. You can never say we are ready to go because there's been so many variables in these games that they've stopped and started. And
eventually the tapping of the posts begin to take place. Silva and Suarez over this one. 4-player wall for the Brazilians.
That's quite excessive, isn't it? My word. How many times is he going to go up and down that post?
Off we go. Checks back, fires at the wall. It was Suarez that took the effort on. The French do their job diligently, robustly. Herculean effort now down this right-hand side from DK Tidiane. Cleared away by the number 5, Cassio Lopez for Brazil. Martin now on the far side in front of the kickboard, in front of the main stand, trying to force his way through. And there's an injury to a French player. It is Diakite Tidiane that is the player on the floor. And the guide has come on to see whether there's the need for further treatment.
Didn't see what happened to him, did you?
No, I didn't.
Because he was not involved in the action at all.
Looks like we're due a substitution as well for the French. The physio will come on and treat Tidiane. The number 6 for France will give way.
But in your own time, physio. Oh, my word.
There's no sign of the French physio as it stands.
Here he comes at last.
I think he forgot his bag. The good news for the French, I think, is that Villarreal? I can't quite make out from where I'm stood. It's just come on. I think it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, he's padded up pretty well, isn't he?
I'm usually able to distinguish between him and other players by the ponytail, but he was facing the wrong way. He's back on, ready to get back into the action. But first, treatment taking place for.
Is that blood all over his shirt?
I think it might well be, actually. Yes, there's a smattering of blood across Villarou's shirt.
Just looking at the replay to see how this lad got injured. Oh.
Yeah, that was a bit of a nasty collision there off the ball.
That's just one of those things, unfortunately.
Not on purpose in the slightest. And Diakite Tidiane is going to make his way off the field here.
Yeah, he looks pretty shook up, doesn't he, in the number 11. He's not moving very well at all.
As he's clutching onto the physio. It means the player that's just come off Martin, the player that just came off for Villarreal, in order for him to come back on, is going to be called straight back into the action.
Yeah, he had time for a drink, just about. Yeah. And
it's a long stoppage, 9 minutes and 23 seconds left on the clock.
Let's not forget, France are also on 4 fouls, so they've got nearly 9.5 minutes to go in this half not to commit a foul. Okay, the referee's just having a word with the Brazilian bench and warning them.
Another referee that's enjoying his whistle.
Yeah.
His responsibilities.
So why he couldn't do that to both benches at the same time and say to him, any more and I'm going to book you, I do not know. But he went to both benches individually and said the same thing. Not very economic with the voice box.
Here come the Brazilians into the French half, but that will go out for a goal clearance for France. Taken quickly by Chevroux, up to Villarreal, who is immediately the man they want to find with the ball. Forward come the Brazilians, and just at the last second, and what a challenge that was, you have to say, by the French. It was
that's a foul. That's a foul. That's a penalty. See, this is a jeopardy. You give stupid fouls away when you don't need to. Then it's not going to be from there though. It's going to be from 8 meters. Oh. It just takes his foot away. There's no need for it.
Big moment in this game. The Brazilians have themselves a penalty.
It's such an important part of the game, the fouls. We've been regularly keeping an eye on the foul count, haven't we? Because it can turn a game on its head, So they still got nearly 9 minutes to go after this one. So what's the betting they're going to get another 2 or 3?
Well, Chevroux came on at half-time. Is that because he's maybe good at saving penalties? If this was set to go the distance, but we're just about to find out.
They could have done a sub with the goalkeeper in the last couple of seconds, couldn't they? I don't know why they did that, but I know he's going to have to face a few now, but it is from 8 meters and not 6. It does give the keepers a little bit more hope of saving it. These guys hit the ball so hard. If you've got to have a little guess, really, which way you're going to go.
Lopez meant the man behind the ball. Shoots, fires wide, a fraction wide.
It is a fraction wide.
The referee's blowing his whistle again. I'm not sure what he's seen
so
here.
Much gone wrong with the goal. He's happy now.
Not quite sure what he changed there.
I think he got his bag of spanners out and done the bolts up again.
Well, it just hits it with the outside of his foot, if anything, which steers it wide in the end. Martin gives chase then for the French as they try to respond. The foul count is up to 5 now.
Yeah. Once he gets over that 4, that's it.
Mendes comes forward with it. It'll go all the way out for a corner for the Brazilians. Another chance for them here as the ball is shaked by the referee.
Can't quite recall who had the yellow card. Is it one of the French lads?
I think, if I remember rightly, it was Babacar Niang. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on that.
It's another corner.
Fired off the French defender for a corner.
Referee very kindly is quick on the spot and retrieved the ball for them.
It's out on that far side in front of the main stand. The two Brazilian players stood over the ball. Fired into the box, and just as Mendes was about to take a swing at it, he was dispossessed. But the Brazilians come again. No foul, says the referee, against Villaroo, who comes clattering back into the same player he'd just taken out. Still in French territory, but now it's been pushed back into the Brazilian half. But several Brazilian players just taken out of the game there by Suarez. Still going here, Suarez. Fabulous run from him. Will it go all the way through? He does shoot. It's over the line.
It's in.
And the Brazilians have the opening goal in this final quarter-final. Both. There's several Brazilian players celebrating as though they got the final touch. We'll have to see a replay to confirm who it was. Suarez is one of those, and I'm sure the Brazilians watching at home will be celebrating in tandem.
Well, who's the referee say it was? He put his hand up, I couldn't quite see.
We'll see the replay now, but nonetheless, a wonderful run in the first place from Suarez. It's prodded through. I wonder whether he was just helped out in the end. This is the angle we need, really. It was the number 8, Mendes, that was furthest forward with him. Again, just it's weaving in and out of defenders. I think, actually, there's a case to say that it was Mendes.
Yeah, or
the keeper. But it certainly wasn't Suarez, but he did the... we'll give him an assist.
Well, he was a happy bunny, wasn't he?
First blood then to Brazil, and really they're in the ascendancy because of all those fouls that have mounted up as well for the French. Having just missed a penalty, they now find themselves in front. We're going to see a substitution for Brazil. Pirana Silva is the player to make way. And on comes another Mendes, Maicon Mendes.
So we're ready to go again from the halfway line.
Referees ask for silence. Not sure how long that will last. As Villaroo moves into the Brazilian half, but he's had possession taken away from him. Here is Suarez, who's been the standout performer for Brazil. Now it's with Mendes. He shoots and fires high, wide and handsome. That's landed in the coffee shop.
Can you get a cappuccino while you're there, please?
Here's Villaroo. He's going to have to start from his own half, but he's very capable of finding the back of the net from a fair old way out with his dribbling skills.
Yeah, he's picked it up again, ice on the boards.
Lovely pass out to the right-hand side from Villaroo. He's gone searching for his colleague there. It's well held up, bit of time wasting from Jardiel Suarez. The players switched out to the right, coming together of bodies there as Villaroo tries to take control of the ball, and now the French will look to break, and they have some space beyond them to move into. But for the final Brazilian defender there, back with the goalkeeper Bissouma. He rolls the ball out to Suarez, who's in some space, up against Babacar Niang, who's having to dig deep. They're lacking in substitutes now, the French. I think the Brazilians felt as though they should have had a foul right on the halfway line. The French side come forward again over the halfway line into the Brazilian half. And that's a bit of a trip, but the referee says play on. He's wanting this game to flow now as we approach the final 6 minutes of this encounter. Brazil ahead, thanks to a contentious goal as to who put the final touch into the back of the net. Suarez will get to this off the kickboard in front of the coaching staff. Inside the French half, He's being forced backwards towards his own half by Villaroo. Breathless passage of play. Mendes on the ball now. Mendes to Mendes, out on the right. Here comes Mendes into the box, fires into the side netting. For a minute I thought the net had bulged and we had a second goal for the Brazilians. A timeout has, I think, been called. The referee trots across. A yellow card for one of the Brazilian coaches.
Right, well, they had been warned, so it's not the head coach. It's one of his assistants has obviously said something, and so he's been carded, and the Brazil are going to make France are going to make a substitution.
Yes, Martin is set to come back on again, and the number 8 for France will be the player to make way. And that was Wanshi, who had come on a little earlier on. Martin is back onto the field of play. Trots out to that far side, just past the halfway line into the Brazil half, in front of the kickboard, in front of the main stand. Here's Babacar Niang, having to start from his own half. Kicks the ball beyond Mendes. Just tries to run onto it, does just that. Gets up to the halfway line, passes to Villaroo. Villaroo looks for Martin, but asking an awful lot from his colleague out there. The Brazilian defender Lopez gets across and stops Martin from getting any closer to the goal line, but he's still in a precarious position on the edge of his D. That's a good clearance by Brazil. Babacar Niang picks the ball up on the halfway line and immediately is dispossessed by Suarez. He claims he got the ball there, the referee. Big challenge going in on a French player. I think Babacar Niang has injured himself in the process, but he's limping back into position. Suarez in possession, and again the French aren't penalised. The Brazilian coaches are getting even more and more upset with the refereeing decision, just as the Brazil side look to make a switch. The number 9 is primed Piranha Silva to come back on again, but they want this play to continue here as Mendes comes forward again. The French stop him. Now Martin brings the ball away. Tentatively so, moves over the halfway line. Martin still going, might look to try and find goal here, but immediately yellow shirts trap back and get goal side with 4.5 minutes remaining now. Villaroo looking a bit leggy, makes his way across to the loose ball, bang on the halfway line, just inside the Brazil half, but in Brazil hands in terms of possession. Now with the number 4, Goncalves. Mendes brings it away, moves over his defensive third line and now up to the halfway line, moves past that into the attacking third and is barged off the ball by Babacar Niang, and it's back with the French goalkeeper who gets things moving again and plays it into some space over the halfway line up towards Martin, who just skips past one player, then takes 2 out of the game, needs some support around him. It's not coming for the time being inside the Brazilian half, and now Brazil will look to push forward through Mendes over the halfway line. 3:40 on the clock. Mendes again inside the French half. He's stopped in his track by Arezki, who's had to see out the entire game, given some injuries to his side. Now Villaroo on the attack, still going. Villaroo. He was through on goal, but he just takes a tumble at the last. He's battled so hard, his top's covered in blood where he took a knock to the face a bit earlier on. And now the Brazilians come forward through Cássio Lopez. Lopez runs into trouble. We've had a real long passage of play here, just over 3 minutes of regulation time remaining. And it spills back out, back into Brazil hands. They need to take no risks here, the Brazilians, but they're still looking for extra goals. It's the Brazilian way, I guess. France clear their lines, though, and Martin gives chase. They're still waiting to make this substitution, this Brazilian side, but it's yet to come. Then number 8, Mendes, brings it forward. He pokes it through to a striker, and that will go out for a goal clearance. And we will see that substitution now for Brazil. Referee has a look on his face as though he's been accused of something, but we're just waiting for that substitution to take place now. The number 9 for Brazil comes back on, Piranha Silva, and Suarez gives way for him. Not long to go now, 2 minutes and 38 seconds remaining.
The French look really, really tired, don't they?
They certainly do.
Yeah, look out on their legs completely.
Babacar Niang digging deep, tries to find Villaroo. Martin will have a bit more energy in his legs, given he's played less minutes so far. Forward come the Brazilian side through Mendes. They want a second goal to wrap this game up. Spilled all the way through in the end to the French goalkeeper Chivroux, who immediately looks for Villaroo, who wants to become a hero late on in this game. He's been through the wars, to say the least, so far. But he loses possession just inside the Brazilian defensive third. Still going here, Brazil, could be a second chance, dragged wide of the post.
And
it will be a goal clearance and a final substitution, you'd imagine, for the French. With exactly 2 minutes remaining. Well, Diakite Tidiane has recovered, and Martin makes way for him.
It's all very frantic here now in the last 2 minutes of this game.
Referee calls for silence.
And we're off.
Into the final two then. France need to act quickly. I think that took Babacar Niang by surprise there, that ball forward. It goes out for a goal clearance, which is taken quickly by the Brazilians. Timeout again called. This time by the Brazilian head coach. He looks angry.
He does, doesn't he? He's not happy at the moment. But to be fair, he's in the box seat, isn't he? They're winning 1-0.
I'd imagine the tactics might change a touch now.
Yeah, if the French are going to lose, they may as well lose by 2 or 3, you know. Sort of all out to tackle. Obviously, I'll push another couple forward and just leave one at the back and try and get that equaliser. Risk and reward, I think it's called, isn't it? Yeah, you may as well lose by 2 as well lose by 1. So we got 1 minute 52 seconds to go. The French cannot give another free kick away, so get another 8-metre penalty against them. Brazilians are only on 1 post, so they got no problems at all. So the French side really need to get Villaroo on the ball if they can.
Well, the Brazilian goalkeeper Basuma is next to the number 5, Cassio Lopez. Cassio Lopez will just take that off him, and there'll be absolutely no rush here. Eventually he does play the ball upfield, up towards Mendes, who picks it up, collects it correctly, I was trying to say. Villaroo will now look to break late on. They need to act fast here, the French. But Brazil managing this game pretty nicely now. Here's Mendes in the middle of the centre circle, skips away from one challenger. Play on, says the referee. There was a few cries for a free kick for Brazil, but nothing given. France sort of trapped just inside their own defensive third at the moment. Then number 5 will pick up the ball in Arezki, sends it upfield in a desperate attempt to get things moving, but that's not touched anybody and will be a goal clearance.
Yeah, he'd have been better off going back to his keeper there and let the keeper distribute it.
Now it's with number 9, Piranha Silva, who's back onto the field of play, of course. Can he find a goal to close this game out? Still with Silva, he's just using his really intricate footwork to not only kill some time, but keep the ball very much in the French half. Still going, Piranha Silva. No foul, says the referee. Maybe one last chance, though, but for the French, as Babacar Niang brings it forward up against the kickboard in front of the main stand. He backheels it into the centre circle. But time is well and truly running out for the French, who find themselves on the edge of their defensive third. That's a blatant foul there from the number 9, Piranha Silva. And Villaroo will have the free kick, but inside his own half. It's not as far forward as he'd like it to be.
But that's the difference of committing silly fouls at the start of the half And whereas the French committed so many fouls at the start of this half, they put themselves in a real terrible position.
Well, we called a timeout. I think the French have called it with 19 seconds remaining. And Villaroo, my word, he's moving as though he's run a ultra marathon.
Yes. But as I say, he's taken some bumps and bruises, hasn't he, over all the games that the French have played. But this will suit Brazil. 20 seconds to go.
We'd be a brave person to bet against Brazil at this point from going in through to the quarter-finals. It looks as though it will be them to overcome the French here and set up a semi-final with China. And
yeah, by my reckon, that qualifies Brazil for the Paralympics as well. If they get through this, France are already there because they're the host country. So that's not a problem. So if Brazil win this, my maths might not be right, but I'm pretty sure they would have qualified. We'll soon know by the reaction of the Brazilians at the end. If it's wild, it means they've qualified. If it's slightly muted, it means they haven't qualified, but they're happy to be in the semi-final.
Up next, it's Thailand versus Germany for a place in that game on Thursday to decide who comes 9th in the competition. And of course, all these finishes do impact the rankings in this category. So it's important that these sides finish as high
it means
as possible.
you sometimes if your ranking points are not high enough, you won't get invited to championships. You know, so there's only so many teams they can invite to each championships, and if your ranking is not right, you won't get there.
Off goes Villaroo, desperate stuff right at the last here, but the Brazilians hold firm. Is there one final chance though? It goes out. It will be a corner, and this is 4.7 seconds left.
It's do or die now.
I'm sure the French will be asking their coaching staff how long there is left on the clock.
Yeah, I expect they're thinking, can we bring the keeper up as well, please?
A battered and bruised Villaroo comes over as well to take this. He's got the Terry Butcher look about him.
Oh, he's gone off the ball. No, he's coming back. He's going to let the 7 run away with it.
And there we have the full-time whistle then. And the Brazilians progress through to the semi-finals and a big celebration as well.
Yeah, so I think they realise that that's a qualification for Paralympics as well. I'm pretty sure my maths are right, but we'll clarify it later on and let you know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that they're there.
There you have it then, the quarter-finals are complete. So not too many goals in any of the games, bar the Colombia-Iran one. That was a convincing win for them in the end. The Brazilians narrowly move past the French. We're still not really convinced who got the final touch for the Brazilian goal in this one. We think it probably was an own goal in the end. But Brazil set up a semi-final with China, and Argentina will face Colombia.
That's going to be a game, isn't it? Argentina versus Colombia. My word, what a game that will be.
Good to see the players come together and share a warm embrace as well at the end of this.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a recap quickly of the goal before we look ahead to the Thailand-Germany fixture. Our coverage for that one will restart. So we've got a big save here again, which we saw in the first half. That was a fabulous stop, and that was really the French's best opportunity, really. Picked up by the danger man, Villaroo, before he went off, having injured himself. He was off balance a touch as well, and he still manages to get the shot away. That's just pure intuition. Here's the penalty.
So close, this. Oh, you see it just bend away at the end there. My word.
Sliced away, and then this is the all-important moment, and it was lovely close control from Suarez to bring it into the danger area, and then all sorts of confusion in there, and eventually it's prodded home.
Do you think the keeper bowled it?
I wonder whether he maybe did. Still can't really make out too much from this angle. You kind of need the camera on the other side, unfortunately, but
it seemed to be between his legs, didn't it?
I wonder if the momentum sort of took him backwards there. Nonetheless, the Brazilians have the win, and Lots of celebrations going on as well. So that completes the quarter-finals. We'll be back at 4:20 for Germany versus Thailand.